Beautiful queens, handsome kings, welcome guys. Welcome to Narc Survival 101. Anyone who is new to this live, this is a weekly live that I do. It's a weekly mental health check-in for survivors and victims of narcissistic abuse, domestic abuse, any kind of relational abuse, and all in all, just some really shitty experiences. Yeah, I had to say it. So anyone who is new, if you're looking to stick around, please say hello. Don't be shy. Anyone who is not new, who's been to these weekly lives, who is also following my channel, welcome guys. So this is a weekly mental health check-in for victims and survivors of narcissistic abuse, and of course Q&A. So any questions that you may have, shoot them towards me. I'll answer them to the best of my ability. I am simply a person here just looking to help any and everyone who has experienced narcissistic abuse, who feels they may be experiencing it, and who just, all in all, just wants general information, if they're not sure if they're dealing with narcissistic abuse or a narcissist per se. Guys, if you're experiencing heartache, if you're experiencing pain, especially from a discard, or, you're just in that fog, in that mist of confusion, trust me, I know what you're going through. I know what you're feeling. I was once there. Oh, no, not once there. I was actually there a few times myself. I used to be codependent. I used to suffer codependency, a great deal of it, and it helped me to understand why I kept not only attracting toxic relationships, but why I kept staying in them. So, stick around. If you have any questions, like I said, I'd be more than glad to answer them for you. Mystic Beauty, yes, you know what? Social media does have its benefits, and it allows people to express themselves. It allows people to speak their story, to speak their truths. And, for those who manage to get away from their situation safely, they now feel comfortable enough to speak on it. So definitely kudos to anyone who has gone through any kind of abusive relationship, and you are now, you're basically encompassing that strength to speak up on it. What does codependency look like? Codependency looks like continuous anxiety. You have a fear of abandonment. You have a fear of being alone. You have a fear that everyone is going to pretty much leave you behind. So if you're in a relationship, codependency looks like you have anxiety when the person wants to have autonomy. So if the person wants to be able to do things on their own without having to constantly do things within the relationship, you feel that sense of stress, and your stress levels go up. You're very anxious, you're very worried, you're worried that they're out there doing things that may end your relationship. You feel basically that you have to be glued to the hip. You got to be glued at the hip with your partner, and you rely on them to keep you emotionally sustained. So you rely on them to fulfill you emotionally. Codependency is it's a very toxic trait as well. Okay. And it correlates with narcissism in that the types of trauma that people have experienced, whether be it a narcissist or a codependent, are they're the same type of trauma, except a codependent person just, internalized it in a very different way. So they're very giving people. You find yourself constantly overdoing, constantly overgiving, constantly extending yourself, and people take advantage of it. And you find yourself not letting go. You find yourself really holding on for dear life. So you're willing to give anything just to get some form of validation, right? We date our trauma. Yeah, but being a codependent person, it usually stems from your childhood. It stems from the type of relationships that you had with your caregivers. Your caregivers don't have to be narcissists. They could have just been emotionally detached people. They could have not fulfilled you as a child. They could have basically just kept that gap in between you, and you felt not good enough. It made you feel not good enough. It made you feel like you were always doing something wrong. It made you feel like you had to work extra hard for attention and affection and love, and you had to go above and beyond just to be able to sustain their attention on you. Unfortunately, people who suffer codependency either have narcissistic parents or emotionally detached parents, where they are suffering their own traumas and they don't know how to properly connect with their children. Narcissistic parents are usually very, very strong with manipulative tactics. They're very strong with that. But emotionally detached parents are pretty much, on the scale of, because we have attachment styles, they're on the dismissive avoidant attachment style, and they're pretty much not in tune with emotions. They're not in tune with your feelings, your, emotional needs, your emotional wants, simply because they don't know how to provide for it. They don't know how to provide you the needs that, provide for your needs. So narcissistic parents are emotionally detached parents. However, emotionally detached parents don't necessarily have to be narcissists. So we also have to definitely keep that in mind. Says he changed 3 weeks ago. He was threatening. Yeah, listen, people under desperate measures, people under desperate circumstances will resort to desperate measures. If you have someone who's locked up in custody, and let's just say they're in jail and they were given, they were given bail, but, they obviously can't get themselves out. And you have the resources to get them out of jail, but you're not doing it. They will say and do anything possible to get out of jail. Okay? I worked with bail bonds for many years, okay, throughout the course of my life. And one of the things I noticed, especially people in domestic violence situations, if someone was arrested for a DV case and they were put into custody, they will reach out to that person that they've abused. They'll reach out to them and say, I promise, I swear to you, I'll never do it again. I swear to you, I'll change. Just please, get me out, and so forth and so on. Mind you, they're not even supposed to be contacting that person, but they end up doing it anyway. When they're in desperate situations, they resort to desperate measures. So they will tell you, I'm going to change. I promise I'll change. I promise I'll go for help. I promise I'll get therapy. If you notice in the interim of your relationship that their behaviors, first of all, narcissists, manipulators, they're aware of their behaviors. They're aware of the toxicity that they project onto you and your relationship. So if they weren't willing to move forward or take that first step to get the help that they needed and to make the changes that they needed in the interim of your relationship, they're not going to do it even after they beg you or they're under desperate circumstances. They're simply going to tell you what you want to hear, so you will believe them. And the reason a lot of you believed them was because, somewhere in your heart, you want them to change. You want them to change. You want them to revert back to the same person that you met, the same person that you fell in love with. Unfortunately, a snake sheds its skin, but it's still a snake. So they're still going to do, they may play nice for a little bit. They'll play nice to convince you, listen, I'm changing, I'm working on myself. You see, things are changing between us. And you will eventually drop your guard again, and you'll eventually believe them, and then eventually it's going to run back to the same thing. Erica Lopez, I was awarded a criminal protective order, thankfully. That's, and it's good to, and I mean, it's not good to have that, but in a lot of circumstances, it's always good to have it, a paper trail of what you have been proactively trying to do to protect yourself. Okay. And, for anyone who has been a victim of domestic violence, I listen, I know the feeling. I know what it is to be there, whether it be physical abuse, domestic, verbal abuse, psychological, emotional abuse. It's all abuse, guys. It doesn't have to be physical for it to, for it to be abuse. It could be any of those things. You're dealing with people who are just egomaniacs and they want control. They want control. And the fact that, listen, I always say, take accountability for whatever you contributed in your relationships. Okay? I do it all the time. It's important that we take accountability and understanding that we, yes, enabled these relationships. Yes, we stayed longer than necessary. Yes, we dealt with, we ate whatever it is they fed us. Yes, we did those things. Okay? And we were there when it happened. So, we took accountability. Now chuck it, because at the end of the day, you don't have to beat yourself up about it. Okay? You don't have to sit there and constantly harp on yourself about it. You're dealing with the kind of people who look to take advantage. Okay? The first time you forgave them, all right, fine, you forgave them. You're still a little guarded, but you still love them, so you decide to stay. The second time, you let it slide. The third time, these people basically, I would say more than likely after the first time, you allowed something to happen and you kind of swept it under the rug. And it's okay to admit that if you did that, because again, it's accountability, and what's in the past is in the past. Because you allowed these things to happen, they've decided to continuously push the envelope with you. They have deemed you as being a weak person. And because they feel that you're weak, they can do whatever they want. And because I'm pretty sure a lot of you have probably dealt with people who have instilled fear, okay, where they use, they may use their fists. you know, and I'll give a trigger warning because I don't want to, you know, I don't want to trigger anyone. But they may have, you know, physically had altercations with you. They may have, you know, emotionally just depleted you. Psychologically, you know, it's psychological murder. Okay. These people are all about control. If you dealt with someone who's a narcissist, especially if they've been diagnosed as one, they're about control. Okay. Narcissists and love are like oil and water. Does not mix. Someone who does not know how to love, someone who doesn't know what love really is, will not be able to love anyone. They don't love themselves. They do not value themselves. They have no sense of self-love. They're not going to love other people. So please, 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 anyone who's dealt with this, understand that their lack of empathy, their lack of, you know, love had nothing to do with you. Literally had nothing to do with you. Okay? These people were blind when it comes to love. They're blind. They don't know it. They can't see it. They can't understand it. I have a hard time knowing what's real and what's not. This is part of, you know, because when you've been in a very abusive, mentally and emotionally abusive relationship, you are gaslit beyond belief. Okay. And the gaslighting is simply to make you question your own reality. Okay. So it's to make you question if you really saw what you saw, if you really heard what you heard. It's to make you question your own sense of self-worth, and to make you question if you're the person with a personality disorder or a mental illness, or you're just making accusations, or you're just being paranoid for no reason. And I always say, go with your gut. If your gut is telling you something, go with it. Okay? Countless times when I've tried to confront someone about a situation, and I would tell them, listen, what you're doing is really disrespectful. Well, what am I doing? What am I doing? Why are you accusing me of something I'm not doing? And they know what they're doing. So, for example, they're you know, stonewalling you, or they're giving you the silent treatment, right? And they're doing things knowing that you're in pain. This could be, you know, this is more than likely after discard or even during your relationship. They know that you are feeling uncomfortable, you're feeling uneasy, or if you're post-discard, you're in pain. You are enduring grief. But they go out there and they do things that they know you can visibly see, because they know that though the breakup maybe just happened yesterday, they know that you're still going on their social media and looking at their things. This is why they leave it open. They know that you're still trying to figure things out, because they never really gave you any clarity, right? They never gave you clarity. They never gave you closure. So what are they doing? They're doing things. They're pretty much pouring salt on the wound. They're doing things outside of you. All right. So they're basically, you know, putting you out in the cold. They're putting you outside in the cold, and you're looking through the window while they're sitting inside, hanging out, drinking, partying, flirting, doing whatever they want to do. And you tell them, this is really messed up what you're doing. Like, why would you do something like this? What are they going to do? Well, what am I doing? I'm not doing anything. You're accusing me of doing what? You're having fun. You're doing all of these things. You're not giving me any clarity. You're keeping me on a string, holding on for dear life, trying to figure out, are we over? Are we on, you know, some of you may have told you to go on a break, you know, let's just go on a break. But it's ironic how these situations happen, and all of a sudden they're just, you know, having fun, doing whatever they want to do. And a lot of the time, I don't know if you guys have ever seen that post where it says when two people break up, the loyal one is the one who stays single because they're working on their healing, while the not so loyal one is the one who's out there dating and doing whatever they want to do, having fun and enjoying themselves. It's simply because, number one, they were never invested in you. They were never genuinely invested in you. They were invested in you for their own personal gain. Whatever you had to contribute, that's what they were there for. But they were not invested in you as a person. They weren't invested in your relationship. Okay? So if you had good financial background, maybe you had a home and they had nowhere else to go, they were living with you at your home. Maybe if you know, listen, if your sex is good, sometimes they'll stay around just for the sex, but they'll still bounce around. Okay? Maybe you were emotionally available and you were giving them attention, constant attention and admiration, and you were constantly making them feel good about them. Thank you so much for the gifts, guys. If I don't get to thank you personally, thank you so much. But maybe you were doing these things for them, so your level of supply was sustaining that relationship with them. But if you notice how everything goes from, you know, hey, it's over and done with, or you think it's over and done with because they're pretty much treating you like shit. During a discard, they treat you like crap. They push you away, they stonewall you, they don't have to answer any of your questions. If they do, they give you bits and pieces, or they'll breadcrumb you, or they'll gaslight you, or they'll pretty much just keep you at a distance. This is because it's already been incepted in their mind. Way before the discard, it's already been incepted in their mind that they're going to get rid of you. Okay? They already knew what they were going to do. So what they do is they gaslight you. They make you feel like you're crazy. You're paranoid. You don't know what it is you're talking about. You're always accusing. You are so insecure. You need to bring up your confidence and stop relying on me for any kind of validation. And the only thing you're asking them is, what in the actual hell is going on? Because you're so confused. You have no idea what's going on. They won't tell you it is over per se. They won't say, oh, you need to go your way, I need to go my way. No, they will try to give you breadcrumbs in that they will try to ask you, you know, listen, instead of just, you know, breaking up and just, you know, being separate and being two strangers, why don't we remain friends? Why don't we stay friends? Or they leave it open-ended. Listen, we don't know what's going to happen in the future. Anything is possible. Okay? This is all simply to keep you hooked. It's still to keep you. It's to keep you in your place. To keep you on ice. Because when they decide that what they went for, what they shitted on you for, whatever it is they did, when they decide that it's no longer feasible for them, it's no longer doable for them, it's no longer, you know, it's not exciting anymore. It's no more of an adrenaline rush. They can just walk right back into your confused behind. Okay? They can just walk right back to you because you're still screwed up. You don't even know what the hell is going on. And guys, this can last for weeks, months. You're sitting there just like, any minute now, this person's going to realize that I'm gone. They're going to realize what they lost. And the fact of the matter is, and I'm 100 with you guys. The fact of the matter is that they were out there playing around and they decided to come back because either it got boring for them, or some people rejected them because some people managed to see through their mask and they have nowhere else to go. And this is why I said, you never ever make yourself someone's option. Okay? You're not an option, and you're not a backup plan. All right? And the first time they left you, the first time they showed you who they are, they showed you who they are. They did you the favor. You have to take that. You have to take that and use that as your armor. No, I already know what kind of person you are, and I see how you do. They're very grimy in their moves. Okay? Very, very manipulative and very grimy. And they'll fight tooth and nail with you. They will fight tooth and nail with you to keep you away from whatever new supply it is that they have, because they don't have it officially locked in yet. Which is why they keep you strung. They try to keep the door cracked open. And if any of you are going through a discard right now, I'm going to tell you, if you're confused and you don't know how to feel, what to think, what to do, you need to close that door. Please close that door. Okay? Because they will not stop. If they know they can come back to you, if they know that they can just walk back in with either flowers in one hand, candy in the other. I'm sorry. I love you. I didn't realize how much I love you. I didn't realize how much I hurt you. Whatever. They can come as sincere. They can come crying their eyes out. Don't open that door for them. Do not open that door for them. Because the minute they see that they can go ahead and slide the first time, possibly the second time, and for any of you who've gone through the repetitive cycles, y'all know. For the ones who've gone through the repetitive cycles, y'all already know what I'm going to say. Don't play with it. Okay? Because you're only playing with fire. All right? You're playing with fire. Don't do it. Mine won't leave my apartment. Is he on the lease? Is he legally living there? Okay? Because, something, I'll be honest with you. If he is, you may just have to, because it's hard to get someone who's legally living in your apartment. It's a whole tedious process to get the person out. And you may have to make that sacrifice, but you may have to get up and leave yourself. Okay? You may have to get up and leave yourself. All right, and as long as he gets no mail there, okay, he's not legally, but if he gets mail there, even if you call the police and you try to have him leave, they're going to still tell you, you may have to go to civil court to have this done. So if he doesn't, then I would strongly advise what you do. Like if he leaves maybe to go, you know, go out somewhere, go to work or what have you, change those locks. Change those locks. Currently pregnant and we have one son. I've been no contact since June and dread him coming back. You guys got to always be on guard. Even if they don't come back right away, even if they don't come back, it could be months, guys. It could be years. It could be, you know, you could be completely done with your healing. Okay. But so as long as you are in your healing process, whatever you do not entertain them. Do not break no contact. You keep your life completely private. Okay. Sometimes narcissists, they don't come back right away. Sometimes they wait a long period of time. They wait, you know, until the dust settles, and then it's like, okay, let me try now. And the way they try to come back may not be in a way that you would expect it. They may not try to come back and, you know, confess their love to you and say, I'm so sorry, I love you, let's be together. No, they might come back in very, very subtle ways. They may just come back and say, hey, look, I just wanted to see how you were doing. I just wanted to see how everything was going. Okay, or they may come back with a little white flag saying, I want to be friends. Can we just be friends? Let me tell you something. An ex is an ex for a reason. Okay? An ex is an ex for a reason. All right? That person, anybody, guys, and this doesn't have to be narcissistic, okay? If you have an ex, it's because your relationship didn't work out. It's because you were both incompatible. If you have a narcissistic ex, it's because of the bullshit, of the manipulation, the lies, the games, the cheating, the heartache, the physical abuse, whatever it is, whatever it entailed. An ex is an ex for a reason. All right. If you have people, you have people in the world who have exes as friends, that's their business. But I'm telling you, I've done my studies on it, and psychology experts even say that it's not a good idea to be friends with your exes because those people will not have your best interest at heart. Someone you've had a romantic relationship with, that you've had feelings, that you've had physical intimacy with, yes, they could be friends with you, but they're not really going to picture that your ex telling you, you know, you're going to be happy with someone else, you're going to marry someone else, you're going to give someone else all of the things that you really wouldn't or couldn't give to me. Okay? And for anybody who's, you know, going back and forth to exes, I mean, on a repetitive pattern, listen, I said this last week, okay? Don't deal with anybody who's dealt with their ex more than twice. Don't deal with anybody who's dealt with their ex more than twice. And if it's a baby mama or a baby daddy, I'm telling you right now, don't do it. Do not do it, okay? I'm a child's mother. I'm not going to sit here and say, you know, I'm a child's mother. My son's father and I, we've been separated for years. We have been separated for years. We co-parent. We do what we have to do. But at the end of the day, I have never gone back to an ex. They're my exes for a reason, okay? They are your exes for a reason. After 2 times, I give it once as a warning, second time, it's a confirmation. That's it. That is it, okay? For anybody who continuously goes back to their ex, for anybody who continuously goes back into toxic relationships, it's not going to get any better. It's not going to get any better. It's not going to change, especially if either one or both parties have done nothing to change anything. It won't get any better. Okay? LA sad girl. I don't ever go back to, he always comes back to me, and it's common. It's very, very, especially when it's an ex who screwed up. It's an ex who messed things up, okay? Narcissists, they know for a fact that they screwed up. They know for a fact in your relationship, they weren't going to be able to hold this up. They weren't going to be able to hold it up for very long until you started noticing certain things, or until they started getting bored with certain things. But when they come back, or they consistently come back, for example, if you've had an ex who always tries to come back to you if a relationship doesn't work out, right? Narcissist or not, if a relationship doesn't work out, they always find their way trying to come back to you. That's because you're their backup plan. You're comfortable, okay? You are something that is familiar for them. Who wants to be that? Each and every time, if you hold on, you sit there like, oh, he always comes back to me. And listen, at the end of the day, I mean, I don't knock people, I don't judge people, but I'm gonna call a spade a spade. That's what I do. Okay? If you can't sit there feeling like, okay, well, every time they go into a relationship, it doesn't work out. He always ends up coming back to me because he has nothing but love for me. No. It's because you're convenient. It's because you keep letting him back in. It's because you are showing him that it does not matter what he does, where he goes, he always has a place to call home. Stop doing that. Narcissist or not, stop doing that. Single. Stay single if you have to. If you feel comfortable being single, there's nothing wrong with it. You want to go out there, dilly-dally, do your thing. Hey, protect yourself. Do what makes you feel happy. Do what makes you feel good. Okay? But don't allow these people back in. Please don't do it, because it will not get any better, especially when they have not gotten any help for it. They know their behaviors. They know what they're doing. And if you continuously allow them back in, they're going to continue to do what they do, which is lie, cheat, steal, manipulate, do every and anything possible. They'll get what they want from you. Okay, I got my fill up, right back out the door. And they're doing the same thing all over again. That girl, what, honeys, they're users. Exactly. They're users. They will use you for what you have, what you can contribute to them. Okay, and as long as you continue to say, well, you know, you always have a space. Listen, you know what? You'll always have a place in my heart. The person I believe you to be will always have a place in my heart. You, on the other hand, you need to take your ass over to that chick's house or that dude's house and let them deal with you. Because I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. Okay? I don't care. Listen, you got these types of people. Listen, they'll leave you for Big Booty Judy or Big Dick Rick. Whichever ones you're dealing with, it does not matter. Okay? They go out there into the world thinking they can find better, thinking they can do better. Wish them well. Wish them well. Go ahead. Go out there, find better, do better, feel better. I don't care. Okay? Focus on you. Focus on your healing. In case anybody is new to the channel, I do curse. I do curse, and I'm very blunt with mine. Okay, so I hope it's something that you can handle. If it's not, it's all good. You can leave. I'm not, you know, I'm not tripping over it. They absolutely don't. They absolutely don't. And you know something, with enablers, they will not change. Thank you so much for that, sweetie. With enablers, they won't change. A narcissist is non-existent, okay? Or they would cease to exist if they didn't have enablers, which are people who are willing to let shit slide with their behaviors. They let it slide. Oh, well, that's just who they are. That's what they do, okay? Their prime enablers, the beginning, it starts with their family members. Their family knows their behaviors, because narcissism primarily starts at home. Starts at a very young age, okay? You have men who are womanizers, and it's probably because they've watched their fathers be womanizers. They watched their fathers disrespect women. They've watched them cheat and do whatever, you know, whether it be on their mother or, you know, any woman who was in their life. They watched them do these things. So they basically, a lot of them pick these traits up. Without the proper positive role model, they pick these traits up, and they end up becoming a lot like their fathers. Okay, and oftentimes these are the same fathers that internally, deep down inside, they resent, because if their father was a narcissist, they had to try to live up to the standards of their father's ego. Okay, because the father walks around with such a boastful ego. He walks around with this superficial charm that impresses everybody else on the outside. And oftentimes children who have narcissistic fathers, they see that. They see how people praise them. They see how people look up to them. And they're like, oh my gosh, my dad is a superhero. My dad is the most awesome person in the world. So what do? They end up trying to live up to the father's standards. And when the father tells them, you're not good enough. No, it's not good enough. No, you're not doing it right. And they reprimand them and they chastise them and they castrate them. They end up continuously trying harder. But internally, they're resenting their father, because the father never ever lifted them up, never put them on a pedestal. Meantime, they were looking to live up to the standards of someone who does not truly exist. It's just someone who is wearing a false mask also. Do you think codependency is the same as Stockholm? I think it's you could definitely correlate the two. Because Stockholm syndrome is where you are, you are pretty much feeling feelings of empathy and trust with, with the abuser, with the person who, Stockholm is usually correlated with kidnappings, and it's usually where, the person who was kidnapped is developing feelings of trust and feelings of empathy and sympathy towards the captors, so towards the people who kidnapped them, because they're doing nice things for them. They're basically presenting to them that they're, kind of giving them that sense of safety. Like, I won't hurt you. I'm doing these things for you, so you should be able to trust me. I think codependency is just more so a lack of, because you have such a high lack of self-love that when someone like a narcissist gives you the kind of attention, because codependents attach very quickly. They attach very quickly to the partner or the person that they're dealing with, because if you got a narcissist who's love bombing you, I mean, as a codependent, you're like, oh my God, like I'm on cloud nine, this is amazing. It's just an amazing kind of feeling. But I think with codependency, you're attaching under false pretense. With Stockholm, it's evident, it's evident that this person kidnapped me, against my own will, and they're doing all of these nice things for me. Why? There are like similarities, but there are big differences as well. But people who are in abusive relationships may develop Stockholm syndrome, where they are, they're instilling the trust. And I think that's primarily when the abuser is doing nice things, like during the trauma bond, they're doing the nice things for you. They're, they're complimenting you all the time, and they're buying you things, or they're making you feel like safe, even though the next minute they're acting completely deranged. But they're making you feel like, you're safe with me. You can be here with me. I promise I'll never hurt you. And then, that kind of wears off, because boom, they end up hurting you again. But I do believe a lot of you have probably also experienced Stockholm syndrome. Right? And the narcissists don't feel they're in the wrong ever. It's their ego. Their ego won't allow them to admit that they're wrong. Their ego and their pride will not allow them to admit that they're wrong. Narcissists, believe it or not, guys, and I'm not justifying any of their behaviors, okay? But a lot of you have probably, remember, there are two types, okay? There are two types of narcissists. You're vulnerable and invulnerable, okay? The invulnerable ones are probably the more grandiose ones. Those are the ones who, who swear their shit don't stink. They're just like, they walk in on their fake pedestal. They act like they're very important people, and that, they're very well known, and you should look up to me, and you should admire me. Like, it's very outward. They show that within themselves. But a lot of you have also dealt with the vulnerable types, which were the toxic types. They're extremely toxic, and by that I mean the more shameful types. Those were the ones who were abused emotionally and verbally and physically and shamed a lot throughout their childhood. Okay, the grandiose ones were the ones who are the extension of their parents, the narcissistic parents' ego. Those were the ones who were constantly put on a pedestal because they supplied their narcissistic parent, and they complied with that parent. So because they were fully compliant, the parent was praising the child. So it's kind of like a back and forth thing. The parent was praising them because the child was, so the parent was convincing the child and putting it in the child's head, well, you deserve everything in the world, and it doesn't matter how you get it, and everyone should look up to you. That's their ego talking to the child, because that's how they no, I'm not going to say subconsciously. That's how they falsely feel about themselves. So they're projecting. If you look at my video, Daughters of a Narcissist Mother, I explained the extension cord theory, where it's like, it's an extension cord between the mother and the daughter. She projects all of these traits, all of these behaviors onto the daughter. So the daughter goes on to feel that way about herself. Well, my mom says that I'm special and I deserve any and everything I want, and no man can tell me no. And if a man tells me no, then he's a little bitch. Like, that's their attitude. That's their attitude about it. But the vulnerable types are the toxic ones, the very extremely insecure ones, that they wear it on their sleeves. That it manifests, it shows in your relationships. So if you were dealing with the vulnerable type, you were probably dealing with one who was extremely jealous, didn't want you wearing certain clothes, didn't want you talking to certain people, didn't, always questioned you, where are you going, what are you doing, Who are you with? Because they fear abandonment so greatly, okay, that the only way they know how to sustain the relationship with you is to try to control you and control the relationship. And these were the ones who were constantly shamed as children. They were scapegoated as kids. So because of all of that, you know, that toxic environment growing up in that, they project a lot of that onto you. They project a lot of their insecurities. They're also known as closet narcissists, inverted narcissists. You know, they're just the type, the introverted types. They don't have many friends. They have some friends, but they keep it like, you know, they're more about like the loners. They're the loner types. And you could probably, which I probably, you know, at times have probably misconstrued vulnerable narcissist with a sociopath, because sociopaths can be like that too. Yeah, vulnerables usually, they're pretty much like, you know, something, everybody hates me anyway, so, you know, why not be who I am, you know? But then you got the overt and the coverts. Excuse me. The overts and the coverts. A lot of you, I'm sure, dealt with the covert types. A lot of you have dealt with the covert types. And it's often, overts are usually, they're very flamboyant. They're very like, they show you who they are. They show you their true colors in public. Overts are the type that do not care who's around. They don't care. They don't care about what people have to say. They just, because if these people are not of importance to them, if they are verbally abusing you or, you know, making jokes, making fun of you, you know how they like to make jokes, but they're like, you read between the lines, they're really insulting you. They mask it with jokes. Those are the types that are very loud, and they're just like, I don't give a shit. The coverts, however, have an image to maintain in the public. So they have to be a certain way in public, but they can be anybody. They can be them true selves in the privacy of your own home. Because who's going to believe you? Who's going to believe that who's going to believe that you're being abused when you're putting me on a high pedestal? Because while I'm traumatically bonding you, okay, when we're having good times and we're having good moments, and I know that you feel elated in those good times, you're putting up pictures, you're expressing your love to me, to the world, you are pretty much showing everyone that you know, that you are my everything and I'm your everything. But when the bad times hit, I usually do this in the privacy of either our own home or where no one can see it. No one can see it, no one can hear it, no one can validate your feelings. No one can validate that you are speaking the truth. Coverts are they're little sneaky fuckers, guys, so be very careful. Do they see me as their victim? They always play the role of being the victim, okay? They see you as an opportunity. Narcissists see people as opportunities. Opportunity to gain fame, gain clout, opportunity to gain money, opportunity to have sex. You guys were opportunities to these people. They will never sit there and say you're a victim, because they will be too busy trying to convince everyone else that they are a victim, that they're a victim. So when they look at you as really, again, an opportunity. They're opportunistic people. Whatever they can do to, you know, to get their numbers up, to get a notch on their belt, to get money in their pockets, they'll use what they have to get what they want. And it sounds really shitty, because it's like, damn, it's sad to say that people will sit there and think, well, shit, I guess I'm just not lovable. No, it's nothing to do with you. Nothing to do with you. Okay? It's all them. It had absolutely nothing to do with you. Do not for one second think that you are not valuable and that you don't deserve love, because it's not you, it's them. It is them. 110%, it's them. You have your own trauma. You have your own issues. You may have had codependency. You know, maybe you had dependent personality disorder. It could be anything. But narcissists are takers. They're takers. They're energy vampires. They're the kind of people that will step over people's toes. They will run over your toes to get something that they feel would benefit them. And if you sit there and say, oh, you ran over my toes. Well, your toes were in my way. You understand? They don't say, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to, I was trying to get there. No, your toes were in my way. That's letting you know, well, you were in my way. I had to run you over. It is what it is. That's their attitude. That's how they look at things. But it's my adult children. could do this to me. As I say with anyone who has narcissistic parents, I'm going to say this with anyone who has narcissistic children, because at the end of the day, you can have narcissistic children. These could be habits that they learn from the other parent. It could be anything, okay? Always create boundaries. Always create boundaries. Just because they're your children, they're your parents, they're your family members, you have to have boundaries, okay? People often think that because we're blood related, that means I get a free card to disrespect you. I get a card to say and do whatever I want to do. I have, free rights to your stuff and, to go through your things and whatever the case may be. No, okay? Whether it be your children or your parents, always create those boundaries. Those boundaries are going to show them that you respect yourself. And it's going to show them that if they don't respect your boundaries, you will excommunicate yourself with them. But when you do this, you have to stand firm with it. Do not for a second think that because they're your kids, that they can, okay, well, mom or dad, I can say and do whatever I want because, you're elderly or you're this or you're that. Listen, at the end of the day, when it boils, well, no, that, I'll be honest, it ain't going to happen with me, because when it comes to my son, I don't play that shit. But at the end of the day, you get to show them that, something, say what you will, do what you want, but I'm not having this in my home. I'm not having this in my life. Okay. And you find other ways to take care of yourself. You find other ways to manage your life. But, just like children should respect the parents, parents respect children. But again, when you're dealing with narcissistic people, they know no boundaries. They know no respect, no courteousness, no reciprocation of any kind of, empathy, respect, love, sympathy, none of it. And just because these are your kids, something, I understand they're your children. You bore them, they're, sugar and spice. I'm disabled and they treat me so bad. Something, look into other resources, other alternatives on how to create manageability in your life, that would not would not push you to rely on your children. Okay? Because children take advantage. They will take advantage. They take advantage of, especially in this situation. You have a parent who's disabled. Well, they need me. I don't need them. So they better live up. No. See, we're not playing that. Okay? Mess around. I'll spend all of your inheritance money on a freaking, what is those called? The power?
Attorney.
No, the power chairs.
Wheelchairs.
Those power wheelchairs. All right.
The power attorney.
I'll tell myself, I'll spend all your inheritance money on myself. Don't play with me. Do not play with me. I'm still alive. You're the beneficiary, not me. Okay? I can still spend this money. I do not have to give it to you. You understand what I'm saying? What can be done not to attract them? Okay. So what can you do to not attract the narcissist? Here's the thing. There's nothing you can do to not attract them. Okay? They're going to go for what they're attracted to. They're going to go for what they feel may help with their image, what they feel may help with their, with their ego, what have you. Anyone can attract the narcissist. Anybody. Anyone. Okay? No one is excluded. Anyone can attract the narcissist. What you have to do is you have to utilize what you've learned. You have to utilize the red flags, the signs, everything that you're taught. You have to utilize that in aiding with your discernment. You have to pay attention to behaviors. Pay attention to words spoken, how they speak to you. Pay attention to, in the beginning, usually narcissistic people in the beginning are very, very amorous people. They're very affectionate. They're very lovey-dovey. They're very constantly, throwing compliments at you and laying it on really, really thick. That's a red flag. Okay, that's usually indication of a red flag, whether they be a narcissist or a codependent. That's a red flag. Okay, when they want to rush things, or if they want to, or in some cases they may not love bomb you, because not all narcissists love bomb. Okay, but certain things you have to pay attention to. Consistency. Usually they're consistent in the beginning. Okay, regardless of it, don't let your guard down. Don't let your guard down. Okay, do not let your guard down. I wish there was a way that we can see a sensor or some kind of a red flag pop up over their head that would let you know. Unfortunately, we can't. So you have to use your discernment. You have to pay attention to what they say, the things that they do, even if you have to find yourself writing things down, guys, because you just want to be sure, okay, I know what I heard that day, so I'm just going to write this down. Things will stick out like a sore thumb to you. And, 9 out of 10 times, if it seems too good to be true, it just might be. It just might be, and I'm not saying project your past traumas and things like that, or go for the jugular right away if you're dealing with someone, but definitely pay attention to patterns, pay attention to behaviors, pay attention to, again, how they speak to you. If they speak to you in a certain tone, usually narcissists, when they're slipping through the cracks of their mask, they may go from sweet loving to like something out of the blue, like you're like, what the hell, what is that about? But then they'll like usually apologize right away, or they'll say, I'm sorry, I was just in a bad mood, or whatever the case may be. You have to pay attention, pay very, very close attention to the things they do and the things they say. I always pay attention to people when they speak to me, how they speak to me. And usually if you want to test them, they tell you something a month later, just test their memory. Because manipulators, they have to literally keep track of their lies. And chances are, if you ask them a question 3 months later to whatever it was that they spoke to you about 3 months prior, chances are it won't be the same thing. They have a smart mouth but try to cover it up. Often they like to also speak to you condescendingly. Like they'll speak to you, and it comes through the cracks, guys. It doesn't come in right away. It comes through the cracks. They'll speak to you in a condescending tone to kind of like reprimand you or make you feel smaller than them. Like if you're not doing something right, or it's just they'll throw in things that are unnecessary to kind of like make you feel some kind of way about yourself. Not even about them, about yourself. Okay, it'll make you feel some way about yourself. And listen, I'm a firm believer, if they don't make you, if their presence doesn't make you feel good about, not even about yourself, but just being in their presence, that's a red flag. He never says sorry, it's always my fault. Yeah, they don't, it's everyone else's fault. It's everyone else's fault, okay? It's your fault, it's the neighbor's fault, it's the, the bodega owner's fault, it's the bus driver's fault, it's mom's fault, it's dad's fault, it's everyone else's fault, but not their own. Not their own. They'll always deflect, okay? If you say, listen, I don't appreciate the way you came out to me, you yelled at me the other day. Well, if you hadn't done A, B, and C, I wouldn't have yelled at you. If you didn't make me angry, I wouldn't have, you see that deflection right there? It's not, I apologize for yelling at you, or I apologize. No, it's something you did that made me do it. So they're basically telling you it's not an action, but rather a reaction. That's bullshit. That's bullshit. Okay, I forgot to put cheese on your potatoes and you got completely belligerent. Well, I always like cheese on my potatoes. It was your fault. That's why I got upset. You understand? It's stupid. It's nonsense. And again, it's deflection. They will try to deflect onto you. Their bad behaviors are your fault. The way they acted the way they did because of you. Okay? And they will blame onto you if they've discarded you. They'll blame it onto you. They'll put that blame onto you too. They'll put that blame onto you too. They won't tell you, I'm out there finding your replacement. They won't tell you, I'm out there talking to 5 different girls or 5 different dudes. They won't tell you any of that. They'll tell you, it's your fault. It's your fault that I'm dealing with someone else. It's your fault that I'm in the arms or in the bed of another person. It's all your fault, to elude accountability. Because they know that what they're doing is wrong. They know that what they're doing is really freaking grimy. And it's shady. There's no other way to describe it. It's a very shady, grimy behavior. But because they won't sit there and admit to it, because they know that they're wrong, and because they're going to be judged and criticized for it, especially by, not only you, but other people, they find it easier to blame you. And what they do, and this is why a lot of people outside of your relationship, a lot of people have a hard time believing that they're the monster that you have expressed them to be. And the reason is, when you were in the relationship with them, everything was fine, everything was good, everything was, you had nothing bad to say about the person. You had nothing horrible to say. I mean, according to your Facebook pictures and according to your Instagram stories, you guys were doing great. Little did they know, these were times when you guys were on the good side. You guys were on the good end of the trauma bond, where they were doing nice things for you and they were taking you places. And, oftentimes if they're like, oh, let's go out to the theater, or let's go out to dinner, or whatever the case may be. They're taking pictures. I'm out with my husband, my wife, my girlfriend, boyfriend. We're out doing all kinds of good stuff. So people sitting on the outside not only go according to how you polish the relationship, because, and again, and this is funny how this all connects. You polished the relationship because you were walking on eggshells, because you were trying to avoid narcissistic rage or, verbal abuse or what have you. Okay. You were doing all of this to appease this person because you just did not want to have that mean, horrible, nasty side of them. And they played on that, because the minute the discard hit, prior to your discard, they were already informing people that they were just thinking that this relationship just might not be working out between me and Jane Doe, because Jane Doe is just, she's being controlling and possessive, and she's being toxic towards me. She's being abusive towards me. It's just, I really don't think it's working between us. Everything they're telling other people, okay, whoever it is they trust, they're telling people negative things about you. They're telling people things about the relationship, but they're reversing the roles. They're not telling them, I'm cheating on her, or I'm cheating on him. They're not telling them, I'm already looking for their replacement. They're not telling anybody any of those things. They're not telling them, that, oh, I'm the one who is controlling, manipulating them. I'm the one who's projecting my issues onto them. I'm the one who is treating them like crap. I'm the one who's giving them reward and punishment behavior. I'm the one who's withholding sex from them. I'm the one who's using sex as a weapon towards them. You get it? They're not telling people that, because that would reflect negatively on them, and that would warrant criticism, and that would warrant people saying, what the fuck is wrong with you, when this person has been doing nothing but loving you in your relationship? Why would you give up someone great? Why would you give up someone who's sacrificed so much and been there for you? They're not going to tell people that. No, they're going to tell people it was you. So that way, when the discard comes, y'all notice how everything goes through. Their friends, their family, everybody is all happy for them. Everybody's happy for them in their new relationship. Everybody's happy for, them finally finding happiness and peace and all of that bullshit, because that's what it is. And not really bothering with you, or not coming to you, asking you your side of the story, asking you how you are doing. No, they're not doing any of that, because they already got an earful from the other person. And all you would be looking like if you tried to speak on it is a bitter ex. You're the bitter ex. You're the one who couldn't let them go. You're the one who, couldn't handle the fact that they decided to leave your toxic ass. Load of crap, guys. Load of crap. As a codependent, what type of help do I need to get out of the relationship? LA baby, the first thing you would need to do is you're gonna have to, honestly, you're gonna have to get that steel pole out of your closet and put it in your backside and create a backbone. That's the first thing you're gonna have to do. You're gonna have to create that backbone, because you're gonna need the strength to leave. You have to walk away first. You have to end it. You have to be the one to end the relationship first. You're not gonna heal where you're being poisoned. It's not gonna happen. I learned that firsthand. I learned it firsthand. You're not gonna heal in the same place that's poisoning you. You have to walk away. And as painful as it is, as hard as it may seem, because it does seem hard and it's very painful, it's not impossible. You have to be the one to say, my self-value, my self-respect, my dignity comes first. I can't deal with this. You have to walk away. You got to break contact. You have to not break, break contact. You have to stay away from them by any means necessary. Once you've done that, you got to take a second, because you got to digest that. It's a hard thing. I know the feeling, because I was there too. And trust me, it's very hard. You almost feel like you're on the verge of, like, literally, I threw up. Okay? I threw up when I was discarded. I threw up when I was going through my depressive moments. I threw up. I can't even count how many times I threw up, but I threw up. But something inside of me just reassured me. I don't know. I mean, it was God, it was just, something reassured me that I was going to be okay. That this is only a fear. It's not a real thing. Okay? It's only a fear. What's the acronym for fear? Guys, if you know the acronym for fear, the saying, but it's not a real thing. Okay? Once you've come to that realization of, I really never needed anybody, I don't need this person, I only thought I needed this person because my codependency allowed me to stay with this person, and this person thought that, well, shit, I can do whatever I want with her because she's not going anywhere. False evidence appearing real. False evidence appearing real. Thank you, Butterfly. That's all it is. That is all it is. False evidence appearing real. Codependency is trauma-based. It is fear-based. That's all it is. That is all it is. When you think, I don't have the strength to get up and walk away, listen, ladies, a lot of you ladies gave birth to babies, okay? A lot of you ladies gave birth to babies. You felt that pain throughout your entire body, whether you pushed them out or you had them cut out. You have felt that pain throughout your entire body. Okay, and that's that severe physical pain. Okay, but you brought in the beautiful lives that you brought in. Trust and believe. Codependency, and that's not even, it's not a real thing. It's just program. It's a program. That's all it is. That is all it is. Okay, first step is to walk away. Second step, sit and digest what you experienced, what you're feeling. You're going to feel the pain. You're going to feel the anxiety. You're going to feel the temptation. You're going to probably, want to go back. But you have to realize that this person will not respect you. This person does not respect you. And it's about time that you, instead of relying or even, waiting for someone else, let's start respecting ourselves. And that's what I did. I said, let me start respecting myself. Okay? This person didn't respect me. My other exes didn't respect me. I have people in my life who put their hands on me, didn't respect me. It's about time I respect myself. Set up my boundaries. I set up my boundaries. I did what I had to do. Therapy, girl. Therapy. Therapy helps. It helps a lot. Okay? Support groups. Support groups help a lot too. Okay? You'll have so many people who will support you in your journey. Okay, until you can finally stand on your own 2 feet and say, shit, I need this person. You'll realize that you never needed them. They were the ones who needed you. Guys, if you guys were in narcissistic relationships, understand you never needed them. They needed you. They needed your validation. They needed your compliments. They needed your admiration. They were the ones who were really, if you think about it, they were more codependent on you. They were codependent on you. It wasn't the other way around. Your codependency may have kept you there because you wanted love and, affection and attention, and you wanted to feel valued. You wanted some form of appreciation of yourself. But really look at things. Really, really look at things. They needed you. Because someone of a secure attachment would have told them to go fuck themselves with a 10-foot pole. But someone of a codependent attachment was someone who was like, this person gives me love every so often. Codependents are settlers. Okay? How many of you settled? You settled. You just settled. That's toxic for you. You don't have to settle anymore, guys. I'm telling you, you don't have to settle anymore. There is no need to settle for anything less than what you deserve. You're kind, loving people. You're givers. You humanitarians. You do good for the world. You do good for others. Understand you're the hot commodity, not them. They're not. Listen, man. Listen, let me not get too into it. But you're the hot commodity, okay? You are the one who has the valuable, you know, the valuable treasure. They need you. You never needed them. Yes, Simbar says I deserve a beautiful woman, inside and out. Absolutely. Absolutely. Hi, Dazzle. How are you, love? That girl, what? They need others. Absolutely. They need supply. They need supply. What do you do when a toxic person cuts you off and then not allow you to have closure? Create the closure yourself. They cut you off, right? They did everything they could do to try to hurt you, to make you feel confused. First of all, someone who cares about you will not confuse you. They will not manipulate you. They won't do any of these things to you, okay? You have to create the closure for yourself. You have to say to yourself, you know something? So this is who they are. Sucks to be them. Sucks to be them. You have to give yourself closure. Because if not, if you sit there waiting, because they know you're waiting for them to give you closure. They know that you're waiting for them to apologize and to give you some form of clarity, some form of validation. If they know these things, they will not give it to you. They will not. It's the thrill of keeping you hanging on. It's the thrill of keeping your energy, your focus on them. Close the door. Give yourself the closure that you need. Okay? Write a letter. Write every curse word you can possibly think of. Write everything down on a piece of paper. Okay? And then burn it. And then burn it. Say what you need to say. Get it out. And then burn it. And say, you know something? Peace be still. Peace shall be mine. Because these people are going to still be who they are. You're going to heal. You're going to move on in your life. You're going to lead happy lives. You're going to be healthier in your lifestyles and in your behaviors. With, trauma-free, codependent. Maybe not trauma-free because you're still going to have memories of things. But codependency-free. You're going to be independent emotionally. These people are still going to be who they are. Because someone who does not feel anything wrong with themselves will not go for help. Anna Supersad says they get off on you waiting for them. Everything is about them. Yes. They know that you want closure. They know that you want clarity. They know that you want something just to close it out. And the fact of the matter is they have no intention on doing that. They have no intention on giving you any of that. They won't give you any of that. So as long as they know that they can still control you, even though they're not physically there, but mentally they can control you, that still gives them power. Cut them off. Cut them off. There you go, Gothic. And you continue and you just keep looking forward. Don't look back. Do not look back. Okay? The only time you ladies should be looking back is to see if your butt's getting bigger. That's it. Oh, Jasmine, I'm sorry. I wish I wasn't. I wish I wasn't describing husbands and boyfriends and ex-husbands and ex-boyfriends and co-parents. I really wish I wasn't, but these people do exist. These people are real. And it's important that, we get it into the heads of so many people so they can understand, they can learn, and they can take the necessary steps to move forward. And sometimes, you know what, Jasmine, if you don't know what to do, maybe it's time to, what they say, if you don't know where you stand, it's time to walk. It's time to walk. Because you should not be in a relationship where you're constantly either competing, you're constantly begging for the basics in your relationship, or you're begging them not to treat you like dirt, or you're pleading with them to not cheat on you or do any of these things. You should never have to be in a relationship like that. Never. Yeah, I mean, Jasmine, you have to make that call. You have to make that call. If you know that he plays with your mind, then you know that if you try to stand up for yourself, he's going to do it again. You have to make that call. If you know for a fact that this man's just going to tug at my heartstrings, he's going to play with my mind, he's going to tell me what I want to hear. Listen, I'm a firm believer. Two people You can't, you got to heal separately. Heal separately. Heal separately. You heal on your end, he heals on his. Okay? One of a few things is going to happen. Either you're going to heal and he's not, and he's just going to pretend and play it off, but then you're going to have the bullshit detector up. You're going to know he didn't do the work, and therefore you get to move on with your life and be with someone else more deserving of you. Or he's actually going to heal, he's actually going to do the work, and he's actually going to come together with you showing true, genuine intentions, and he's going to show you that he's really changed. Either way, how do you lose? You don't. You don't. La Gatita, I want to thank you for all of your spiritual guidance. Really, you're very welcome, sweetheart. You're very, very welcome. I'm so glad that you guys came out. I'm so glad that I was able to, any words that I can give, guys. I want to help people just get through it. I know what it is to go through it. I went through it by myself, and it was a very painful process. I didn't want to lay my burdens on other people either. So it kind of sucks when you don't want to lay those burdens on people and you gotta, face the music by yourself. But anything I can do to help you guys, I want to help whatever I can do. Okay, guys? Yeah, they're created. Most likely they'll never change. I catch him cheating and I just brush it off like nothing. Yeah, I find it just easier to just be alone. I'd rather be alone than be with someone who's gonna make me feel alone, who's going to blame me for their own issues. They're gonna blame me for how other people treated them or how other people, I'd rather be by myself. I'd rather be by myself. Slim Chunk, I'm so glad you came across my life too. Everybody who's new, guys, definitely I'm here every week. Okay, if it's not Tuesday, it's Wednesday. I'm here every week, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I also have a website if you want to join it, snarksurvival101.com. If you need help with anything, if you need me to speak with you, or if you have questions, if I didn't get to answer any questions, you can email me, narcsurvival101@gmail.com. I'm working on some more content. I'm working on books too, guys. It's a lot going on. But anything that you can, anything you need help with, I do one-on-one sessions. I think July is done for, right? Mm-hmm. I do. My one-on-one sessions, my group sessions are on my website for the month. If there's nothing for July, just be on the lookout for August. It'll all be updated on the website. One-on-one sessions are for free. It's an hour per session. And, anything you want to discuss, any questions that you may have, whatever the case may be. And just to let you know, I was supposed to give this disclaimer in the beginning of the video, the live, and I completely didn't do it. But just to let you guys know, I know I'm not a medical professional. I do study psychology. I am aiming to, finish my education in psychology, and hopes that I can become a psychotherapist. But I do my due diligence. I do my research, and from experience, I'm just here trying to help people. That's it. I do not give legal advice. I do not give medical advice. So if you are seeking therapy, continue to do so. If you are seeking legal counsel, continue to. Okay? I'm simply here to be support. I'm simply here to be an ear for you. And I'm simply here to just help you with whatever it is you need help. That's it. Okay? I'm a real person trying to help real people. And no, I don't ask for anything in return. You guys don't have to pay me. You guys don't have to, people make donations, which is great. I'm appreciative of it always. But I'm just here to just really help, man. I felt like shit when I went through it. So I can only imagine with a lot of you who've gone through way worse, and a lot of you who are dealing with it right now. I imagine what you're going through, and I know what you're going through, and I feel what you're going through. So I want to extend myself to help you whatever way I can, however way I can. Okay? Oh, Butterfly, thank you, sweetheart. LA Sad Girl, thank you, my love. Earth Angel 4444. I truly appreciate. I appreciate you. I appreciate you guys coming out tonight. I appreciate you guys. Just thank you, Stella Bella. Thank you. I appreciate you guys just being here, and listen. Just find the blessing in disguise. Okay, find the blessing in the disguise. All right. I know you went through the pain, but hey, it helped you with your codependency issues. It helped you to open your eyes more. It helped you to discern better. And believe it or not, you may not see it now, but it's going to help you on your future relationships with other people, whether it be friends, romantic relationships, even family members. Okay? So guys, thank you again so much. Oh yes, and I do YouTube. I do lives on YouTube, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on my YouTube channel. It's all on the website. So if you want to join over there, you can join us over there as well. And again, you guys need me, email me. You can send me a message on Instagram. All of my socials are on the website. And if you have, if you just need someone to talk to, I'm here. I'm here. All right. Anna, you're very welcome. I thank you for being here. Yes, Papa, yes, love is a hell of a drug. It is. But you know something? It's your love that was in that relationship. It was you. You projected your love. I said this last week, and I'm going to say it again, for anybody who clearly wasn't here last week. Even if you lack self-love, when you're a giving person, when you're an empathetic person, right? You lack self-love. Yeah, but look at how you projected love onto other people. Even though you lacked self-love. Even though, yes, it was codependency within you too. But a lot of it was genuine. Your projection of love was genuine. They lacked self-love, and look at how they projected onto people. I said it before, I'll say it again. I'd rather be a codependent than be a narcissist any day. I'd rather work through my trauma and work on my healing and self-love than be the kind of person who looks at the world with just hatred and disgust and, no remorse whatsoever. That can never be me. That can never be me. So guys, thank you so much again for being here tonight. I do hope to see you next week. If you have hit the follow button, then you'll be notified when I do my live. I'll be doing my live next week on Tuesday. And this week on Friday, I'll be on YouTube, on my YouTube channel. So if you want to join us, guys, there's some, I got some family over there too that would be more than glad to welcome you. And again, if you need me, you have all of my contact information. I will try my best to get back to you as soon as possible. But, just keep me posted. Say, hey, Erica, listen, I went no contact and I'm working on it. And I love hearing stories like that too. I love hearing stories like that too. All right, guys. So again, I hope you guys are here next week with me. If you're not, that's cool. If you are, I look forward to seeing you there. And if you need me again, you know where to find me. So much love to you guys. Have a beautiful remainder of your week. Have a wonderful weekend. Love, blessings, God's protection, all that good stuff. Good vibes, positive vibes. Just straight love to you guys. Okay, I will see you next week. Have a beautiful night, guys.